This is really impromptu, but I really needed to get this done. Unfortunately, maybe it is fortunate. I guess it's fortunate. So, back to the story. Why am I making this video? Oh yeah, because I have to fix something of my costume. My headband is the problem. I pulled it out of my cosplay stuff, and there it was. The broken wire. The broken wire where all the beads had fallen out, and I don't have any extra beads, and my crystal headband looks awful. And it makes me sad because, you know, I really worked hard on this, and, you know, Catwoman's wedding dress anniversary is coming up, and I just want to wear this costume more often because this is a really beautiful gown, and I love it, but not with this being broken. This being broken is holding me back. Today I am revamping my Catwoman wedding tiara. I guess it's more, I am revamping my Catwoman wedding cat ear headband. And today I have some very quick and easy ingredients for you. That way you don't have to go scrounging around and going crazy about not knowing where to get your items and everything else like that. So maybe you have these items around at home, or maybe you can find them in a clearance bin. Alright guys, last minute cosplay. Let's go. So my materials, I'm just going to use this one as a reference, so I need that. I have a brand new headband that I got for 10 kroner or $1 here in Denmark. Or in America terms, USD, $1. I am reusing this wire again. You've seen me use this wire in multiple videos. I'm using this small bit of wire that I got from I'm using this small bit of wire, and I'm going to be using it sparingly because I only have a little bit of it, but I will be using small, thinner silver wire. I'm going to be using these bracelets from my jewelry box. I was going to use this for a different crafting project, but beggars can't be choosers. I got these on sale for 20 kroner, which is about $3.50 here. So yeah, I paid about $3 for these. So all around, these are kind of recycled materials because I've already had this. This was really cheap and such. I will also be using needle nose pliers because working with wire, you don't want to be cracking your nails. I have wire cutters because that is super important. Having wire cutters is really important. That way you do not ruin your scissors. I have scissors just in case if I need to cut something that is not wire, but it's always handy to have around. Last but not least, I will be using a hot glue gun. How else am I going to attach it? I just gotta attach it quickly. And don't forget, you need hot glue sticks. Hot glue sticks is everything. I do have my veil. I might be attaching it onto the crown this time, or the cat headband on this time. That way, I don't have to worry about attaching two different things. But I might not. Let's just see where this goes. Alright, let's get started. First, you want to take out a medium length piece of wire. Once you get a long enough piece, go ahead and cut it. With your wire cutters, of course. Now fold that wire in half and you should get an even smaller amount of wire. Actually, the wire that I got was actually pretty long in length. I'm not sure how long. Let me measure that. It was about 9 inches. Now go ahead and cut that in half. I know you could have just easily cut the wire 2 different times, but for me this is faster. This part is optional. I'm using some needle nose pliers and I'm just going to flatten out the edges a little bit from that curve. Now I'm going to take those small little wires and I'm going to fold them in half, hopefully that they're going to be even. So go ahead and line up the tips and then make a nice little point at the end in the middle. We want this to be the point where the cat ears have their point. Make sure that both of your little triangle pieces are even. You want 2 even pieces because you want even cat ears. I'm going to be using these little chevron pieces and slowly wrapping it around the metal headband. We want to make it as even as possible, so kind of measure it out and then slowly wrap it around. For the last little bits, use pliers to help secure it down, and that way it won't stab your head. Then go ahead and start wrapping the other side of the wire. Make sure that your cat ear point is going to be symmetrical and you don't want it to be lopsided. Again, using those wires, I'm going to be slowly wrapping that last tail bit down or stab my head on this side. I realized I had a little bit too much wire that I didn't need, so I go ahead and cut off some of the little tip. This way I don't have too much bulk on my cat ears. This is what my cat ears looks like when they're done. Now let me go ahead and remove these bracelets from their binding. I already went ahead and cut one of the bracelets, and now I unwired a little bit of the wire, and I'm going to hold the end of one of the bracelets to the end of the headband, and I'm going to secure it by wrapping a little bit of the wire around it a few times. Once you have the rhinestone securely on the headband, you want to slowly start wrapping around the other rhinestones. That way it stays and does not move from the headband. With the extra little tail, I just tucked it inside the little combs, and now you can see that it's not going to poke or come out. Now you can see I'm just going to start wrapping around slowly, individually, spacing out carefully. You don't want to push the rhinestones apart, but you want to keep them close together to get that nice crystal feel without any gaps. I'm using wire because that's what I had on hand, but feel free to use fishing wire or clear thread to hold your rhinestones in place. Once you get to the ears, make sure that you only do the headband first, and then we'll be doing the ears next. Continue wrapping around until your rhinestone chain is finished. If you actually run out of rhinestones on one strand, you just need to attach it the same way that you did in the beginning, making sure that it's completely secured, and that way it does not move or shift in place. Here you can actually see that I'm using the wire cutters to cut the rhinestones itself. That's because these are metal. You don't want to be using scissors for this. So with the ear, we're going to line up the rhinestone closest to the headband and make sure that the rhinestones are facing forward this time. Once we get that, you're going to secure it the same way that you did in the beginning with the little wire. So because my wire was getting messy and tangled inside the cat ear when I was wrapping it around, I undid it all and then wrapped it around a hairpin for easier access. Now I'm just going to do the same technique that I did to the headband, but making sure that the rhinestones are facing forward and not up. So when you're actually going around the tip of the ear, you want to slowly wrap it around 2 times before you start doing the curve. And you really want to enforce it just in case it does snap and break at some point. This way you don't have any breaks and you have enough wire to keep going around. Slowly bend the rhinestones around the curve of the ear, and then go on the other side, wrap a few times, and then continue wrapping and finishing it. I'm just trying to prevent my past mistake where the ears actually broke and snapped with the beads. So here with the rhinestones, I definitely wanted to stay and not break. That's why we're wrapping it several times with the wire or cord of your choosing. This way your beads or your wire does not snap. Once you finish wrapping all the way around the ear, you want to pinch off the last part of where the rhinestones end right before it meets the actual headband. You want to cut it off, and that way you will have a full headband with your cat ears. You should have some leftover pieces of rhinestones. I'm actually going to be using this so that it goes on the front, and I'm going to be restringing it around the front versus making it upwards. This way it just gives a little bit of dimension on the forward part versus the back part. Feel free to get experimental with this, and that way you have a different style headband, or you can just follow exactly my tutorial. This is a completed cat ear headband with rhinestones this time. I definitely had a fun time doing this, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, watch my other videos, stay inspired, be creative, and I will see you in another video. Bye!